Do you have a topic? Because I don't know what the hell people want to talk about. I don't even know if anyone's going to be on today. I have no idea.
I bet we're live now, and I bet we're gonna have a whole bunch of people come on, and I bet they've got some topics to talk about. Because guys, this is gonna be a space for us to take a break for an hour. This is gonna be a space for us to enjoy the hobby and make fun of David and all of his craziness. And we're live now on the space. It's right at the top of the hour. So Dave, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
How is everyone doing? It seems like all anyone wants to talk about right now is the fact that PSA isn't accepting any more cards. I think that's the number one thing out of this whole week that I'm thinking of. Either that or Tom Brady playing for the Buccaneers.
Oh,
Having no
what is
longer
that craziness?
the fact that we don't have to play, we, as I'm a Jet fan, I don't know, I am part of their team, don't have to play him twice. And we don't play that division that year. So I don't have to see his stupid face. I am extremely happy. But all I know is whoever they have, their backup I can't say his last name. He
Yeah.
will probably become the greatest quarterback ever to play the game outside of Brady. So that's all I can say.
I know Jason Stidham because he played at Auburn. I don't know him personally, but he played at Auburn in the SEC a couple of years ago. And who knows how these guys develop it? Hopefully he'll turn out, if he's the guy. Hopefully he's got what it takes. But there's so few of those who develop and become the guy. I guess. But you know, David, you never want to be the guy who replaces the guy. You'd rather
No.
skip. You want to be the next guy. Two
Yeah,
guys
you want to
later.
The only guy that did it well was actually Didi. I can't speak today. He did
Oh,
it.
you're so funny.
Everybody crapped on him when I was deathly against him. I said, this guy's a bum. Why do we get him? Why do we get him? And he proved everybody wrong. I mean, he did an amazing job. I'm annoyed that they didn't sign him, but Didi was the man. He was awesome. He was great. So I was happy about that.
All right,
Uh,
Brooklyn Paul has joined us. Hey, Paul, hope you're doing well, bud. I know you're missing seeing some of the Brooklyn games about now. And let's see. Well, David Reyes joined us. Hey, Dave, what's happening? Hopefully, we got some guys rolling in. It's early. Tino Martinez did it twice. Replaced Mattingly in New York and McGuire in St. Louis. There you go. That's exactly right.
yeah, I think he did a better job replacing Mattingly. I felt so bad. As soon as Mattingly leaves, they win a World Series. That's
That's
the fact.
true. Absolutely true.
He was awesome in the playoffs too that year. 94. No, 95. Sorry. 94. We had an awesome team that year. That stupid strike. We were really good. I thought we would have had that first World Series then. Here's what it is. So, it seems like you've been buying cards. You bought a nice Ozzie Smith. Are you
did.
Are you looking for other stuff? Are you looking in particular for anything?
I yes and no. What I'm doing, David, is I'm being more conservative with my buying and really setting limits for myself. I'm not looking for as much. I'm being much more selective. I did buy a few JJ Bleday cards. They weren't very expensive. They were just what you call it, just base cardboard. But I've got my eye on a couple of lower end Hank Aaron cards that I'll bid on. If I don't get them, that's okay. I'll come back another day for them. But I don't know if that's the trend. I heard your pod today. I don't know when it's going to slow down. It does seem like that there's still the volume is still there, but maybe you studied it a little better than I. Are you seeing a change in volume of sales?
No, I've been noticing every single thing that I'm following. It's still going strong, but truly, we're only on day 3 of any type of quarantine. You know, when I mean quarantine, I'm talking about just staying home more than usual, kids being, home and everything like that. I'll tell you this much. In a month, I don't know. I think you're going to have a large supply and you're going to have people hurting for money. and it's going to happen. I mean, I'm just thinking about my case. Working in construction. Homes. Who wants you in your home if you want to do a renovation? No one. Two, who's going out to buy homes when no one's working right now? They're working from home. So it seems to be a good idea to do a podcast, like do stuff on the internet and stuff like that. Because probably for the next month or two, no one's really going to be going out. No one's going to be doing much. And I think unfortunately, it's just going to get worse because there's certain places in certain areas, like Florida and spring break, all those kids were out on the beach. Like people aren't, I've been watching this. I mean, I've been talking about it in a podcast for a long time now, since early January, but I've been following it, and it goes the same route. Every single country, it's gone the same route, and so it's just going to get worse. And once the numbers start hitting, everyone's going to be like, "Oh crap, this is even though it is real, everyone's taking it seriously." But until the numbers and you see the hospitals and once you start seeing videos of people, like they did in China and all these other places, I think that's when you'll get the full effect of everything. So I stupidly bought a bunch of cards, and I should have just not. I should have just waited or not spent it, and waited a month or two because I think it's going to get way worse.
Well, David, during our lifetime, and I know we're talking about cards tonight, but this is a little bit part of it. Not during our lifetime, and maybe only since 9/11 have we had such a disruption of way of life this extensive. And after 9/11, it wasn't and won't be nearly like this. It was a few weeks, and then we got back to sense of normalcy slowly. This is going to take months, and I really think that as a small vision or small part of this, those of us in the card hobby, like we must do in real life, we've got to remain patient, got to remain calm. This will eventually pass, and the market, as we all know, is in the crapper, and it will be for quite a while, but it's going to rebound eventually.
But the market isn't the indicator of a regular person working in a restaurant or
Right.
me, whatever. Yeah, if you have money in the 401k, that's one thing, but that's it going up and down really doesn't affect someone who is trying to hang sheetrock. You know what I mean?
I do. I completely agree with you, and I would hope that those in our hobby will take that, be mindful of that when dealing with each other online, because it's way too easy to let your feelings spill over to whatever you're typing, and you become, I don't know, this is me on my soapbox a little bit, that, well, why, you get your feelings hurt, and so you lash out at people.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly a time of stress, but I would hope that there'd be some civility still in there when dealing with people within our hobby as well. But who knows?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of low-end cards. You're going to see a ton of those. People are just going to keep posting, trying to get rid of them. I would go on COMC, and be all over the place on COMC and just checking that stuff out because you're probably going to get really good deals. I have breaking news. Breaking news, PSA is reopening. Orange County has clarified its emergency order and is now allowing businesses, including Collectors Universe, to resume operations. As a result, they will resume operations March 19th. See, if people were on, they would know I'm giving breaking news.
Paul gets the breaking news before anyone in this group. Way to go, Dave. Sharp eye right there.
Breaking news. It actually came up on my email. So SGC made a point, which was funny. SGC made a point that, hey, we're still open. We don't care. We're going to, let our people get coronavirus. We want to grade your cards. So I guess, I don't know why they would even, but it is what it is. They're opening. That's good. So people can get their cards graded because that's really what's important in life right now.
Well, you know what we're doing right here for this 30 minutes to an hour, however long we're going to be on, it's a way to, Paul said he already saw it already, so you didn't break anything to him. It's it's a little break in the day. Everything is already so tense and so uptight that it's our hope, it's our intent for being here for this little bit is to just kind of give yourself a little bit of a break, whether you're watching this live and participating with us like Paul is, or if you catch this on the replay on the Facebook page. We hope that you'll get something out of it. Now, Dave, here's a question I did have for you, and I meant to ask a minute ago. Have you seen any news where there's going to be any delays in the issuing of any sets that are scheduled to come out in March, April, and May?
I haven't seen anything yet, and I actually looked today to see what was going to be coming up. And the only big one I saw, well, you have Topps Inception, which is supposed to come out. I'm actually looking at it now. That's why I'm scrolling here, because my memory, she doesn't know so good. March 20th. I know Gypsy Queen is supposed to come up too. I hate Gypsy Queen. I think it's a terrible. People like it. I don't like that crap. I haven't seen anything yet. I know Lumber Kings came out, but that was on the 13th. That's, that was a couple of days ago. But I don't know. I've still seen like breakers coming out with cards. But we'll see. I haven't seen anything. You know what? I'm going to go to Topps right now and see if I'll try to get some more breaking news, which it won't be breaking news. It'll probably just have been on the website for a long time. But I didn't see anything, and which is surprising to me. There's got to be some type of, right now in Target and Walmart and all these other places, I can't imagine they're going, well, we need toilet paper, paper towels. You also have the blasters. Did you get the blasters? Did you bring them in? Like, I can't see that. So I think there's going to be some disruption. I mean, Amazon isn't delivering anymore. They're delivering just essential stuff now.
I think that until it's declared, assuming that it is, I haven't heard anything, but assuming that we have some type of a nationwide quarantine or a nationwide curfew, which really disrupts commerce, I don't think that a lot of companies, they're probably sitting on it right now to make big decisions, not just in the card industry, of course, but I think a lot of people collectively are just kind of holding their breath on business as usual, for big picture wise.
I think it's going to happen, though. You're going to go, we were just talking about it before because me and my wife, because we were talking about Italy and how we're like 8 to 10 days behind where they're at. But we're going to get a lot of ebbs and flows because each state, like Washington, is probably going to go, is going to go up and they're going to start declining. Their curve is going to start going down, and other states are going to start going up. So you're going to have this flux all over the place in the next couple of months. So it's never going to go away. And they're going to try to control it. Sorry. Try to control it. So I think I can't see how they don't like somewhat close the state or do something where they're figured, because they don't want, once they start getting low numbers, they're not going to want somebody from another state to come in, and start it all over again, because that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to shut Manhattan down. That's what I think. I think they're going to do the bridge. Everything's getting not closed, but like they're going to make sure who's coming in and who's coming out, because they're going to want to, at some point, it's going to get so bad, and the hospitals won't be able to handle it, that they're going to need to control it somehow. But I think we're a couple of weeks away from that. That's what I think. But yeah, it's going to suck because, if you have a bunch of blasters and you're trying to get into the city, I don't think that's going to be a priority. Maybe it is. Maybe, I mean, for me, it would be. If I was manning, I'd be like, you know what? You go. Masks? No. We got blasters here. So, I don't know.
Ted Walsh just joined us. Thank you, Ted. Paul says, just an FYI, COMC isn't adding inventory at this point, nor is it shipping out orders. So what's on there remains on there for now. And he doesn't really know when anything will go back to normal. And hopefully these companies, COMC, PSA, hopefully they're continuing. I don't know if you said you saw yours in an email. Maybe they're communicating through Twitter or their websites. I'm sure there's tons of ways to get the information. I would just hope these companies would keep their customers, keep their clients informed when decisions get made fairly timely.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I have like email alerts, so that came across an email, and that's why I did it. But right now, I don't know. But right now, I forgot that COMC is a full service thing, so it's going to be difficult. I mean, I know Star Stock, you know, I got to throw their name in there. They said they're still accepting stuff. They're still going to go ahead and open in April. I don't know how that's going to go just because of just deliveries. Like, what's the post office? What happens if they just say, you know what, let's shut down the post office? They don't want to get contaminated. You know, they don't want to get sick because they're going house to house. I don't know.
Well, and David, it may come down to that. But I will tell you, just from the news in the professional ranks, professional sports, they're still, at least on the surface, still doing transactions. You're seeing some of these athletes signing new contracts. You're seeing trades. There was some big trades, free agent signings. So I guess the mentality is this is going to be a temporary slowdown or shutdown, depending on the season. But at least for football standpoint, they're hoping to start on time. But all of this remains to be seen.
It's going to be, yeah, they probably can't, they probably could start in September, but they're not going to have any preseason. You know, they're not going to have any practice, or it's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult because if we still have this, you know, 50 people can't come to action, and you know, Trump said 10 people shouldn't come together, but there's no mandate. You know, there's no, you know, legally you can't do that. But I don't know. Who knows when we start doing that? But yeah, football, I think right now is a little hot right now because everyone, you know, you're probably going to see some Buccaneer guys. What's that guy? Evans, the wide receiver. You're probably going to see his car start moving up because Brady's going to be in there. The Bills now. Bills paid a lot of money. I think they spent too much, which I'm happy about for Diggs. And I think Texans were just, I don't know what they were doing, trying to get rid of Hopkins. There was some rumors that came out. Michael Irvin was talking about that him and the coach or the general manager didn't get along because he had too many baby mamas coming into the I was listening to that. I couldn't believe that was the reason why they got rid of him for basically nothing. I mean, what was it, third or a fourth rounder, and David Johnson, the running back,
and a bag of footballs, I think, was thrown in.
Like, as a Jet fan, I go, we could have done that. You know, we could have given him something better than that. But Arizona, so Kyle Murray is going to be a guy. See, everyone was crapping on last year's 2019 boxes, and they're so cheap right now. Well, I don't know about right now. They may be starting to tick up, but no one was buying them. Nobody wanted them.
Yeah.
You know, and now you have Kyle Murray, who's going to be on fire because now he has Hopkins. You know, he still has Larry Fitzgerald. They have a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, and you also have the Giants. Who knows? Giants they always figure out a way. They're like the Steelers. They always come back and they're always good, no matter what. They always figure out a way. A bunch of jerks. So.
Well, you know, with no Pro Scout combine this year, and I haven't seen any announcements about the draft being altered. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams figure out who they're going to draft, and I guess they'll have to go back to a little bit of the pre-combine days. So and granted, sports are just it's a way of life for a lot of people. It's a diversion for many. It's enjoyment, unless your teams just are terrible. But it's important to our way of life, and I just, like all of us, hope that eventually we get back to some sense of normalcy. I want to welcome David Keppel. Hey, David, and hope you're doing well as well. Paul with some unbreaking updated news. Paul, you ought to just come into the Blue Jeans discussion with us because it's just me and David talking right now. I don't mind talking to David, but
with jibber jab.
Yeah, it's just jibber jabber. He was wrong about COMC not adding any inventory or shipping out. The blog post leaves a little wiggle room, but it's like anything else. It's probably a very fluid situation. The decision makers over there are probably just trying to figure out the best way, the best practices from a health and safety standpoint for their business to stay afloat.
Yeah, it's you know, I can't believe Paul would lie to us like that. That's disgusting.
Yeah, you don't need a password, Paul. All you need is the code. Let me see. I posted it in the 9-digit code is all you need. Give me just a second, unless David has it handy.
Good
It's
enough.
always the same. It's always the same code. So give me just a second. There's no password needed. Let's see. Here we go.
This
268.
makes for great people just watching us going, I don't know, like old man, I don't. You click the thing, you go on the Google, and you click it. It's really good.
All
Yeah,
right,
no,
stop. 268 437 781. 268-437-781. All you have to do is get into blue jeans and you'll be popping in. And lucky you.
look at all. I was supposed to get all these cards graded, all these, and I've had these for a long time, and I keep on adding them, and I'm just like, but it's just gonna cost too much money. Each one is $9-10, and I have like 100 all Eloy Jimenez. Just I just really am surprised at base cards how much they have gone up in value. Like this card right here, Fernando Tatis,
Mm-hmm.
$125 card at one point in PSA 10. It's crazy. I have even Gleyber Torres, his cards. I got 3 of these. They're all going up crazy, crazy prices. There's so much supply. I don't. It just seems like it's just it just changes so much. Like what people want to collect. Even from when I started to now, everything was about autographs and first Bowman, which it still is. But base were important, but they weren't like the end all be all. PSA 10s, they were nice. The only ones that I knew was like Trout was the ones that go for a ton of money. Nothing, none of the other cards. And maybe I might be wrong, but it wasn't as prevalent or, it pushed. But now, I mean, every single rookie card that's based that you get in a 10 just goes up astronomically. And right now, I'm actually looking at BGS 9.5s more than PSA 10s to buy because they are just a lot cheaper. I mean, a lot cheaper. And I think there's a good opportunity that if you get a couple of good ones, hey, Paul,
So guys,
where you can just crack a 9.5 and send it to PSA and have it like 25-30% more valuable. So I think it's a good proposition to do. Well, in the normal world, but not now.
Paul, have you made any trades, any purchases? Are you still active online with your
yes,
cards?
I've been buying and selling on COMC like I have been for the past year. But the whole time I've been concentrating on serial numbered cards of superstars. So a lot of you guys do the prospecting and things like that, and I'm more interested in collecting like lower quantity cards of superstars that already have established fan bases, thinking that in time those will hold a little bit of value and at least be collateral, because I think that the industry is about having things you want, having things that other people want, maybe trading them. So say I might get like a Prism or an Optic card numbered to 25 of a core like Ben Roethlisberger, but somebody else will have the Eli Manning one, and I'll be like, well, I'll take the Manning, you could have the Roethlisberger. So I don't do this for money or investment. I do it for enjoyment, and I like to have things that I think will contribute to that in the future. So I particularly don't want a pile of 100 base cards of somebody, because then it's currency and it's not a collectible, it's currency.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather do like one-off kind of buying and selling. So what I've been doing on COMC for a year is basically having a real good understanding of the pricing tiers. So it would be like, what are your tiers for Roethlisberger or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers? And Tom Brady is on another tier. And, we've mentioned Mike Evans and guys like that would be on a lower tier. And then I would sort of see like, okay, well, this guy really should be a little bit higher. So what I do is I just buy a card, I bump it up a little bit. If that sells, I take that money, I buy another card, bump it up a little bit. And so I have like almost like a garden of these cards. And I think I have like 800 to 1,000 on there now. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. And I also, the reason I did that is I never got into this investment game of PSA 10s of base cards by the thousands is because I never believed that that market made any sense. I always thought it was really out of whack. And I think it's going to come crumbling down. And not looking forward to that and not rooting for that because I'm afraid it's going to chase people out of the hobby that may have just got into it the past year. And also, really, you know what? I just care about people's well-being at this point. I mean, I don't want to see people get hurt financially too bad in any part of their lives.
Yeah, I think
go ahead, but yeah, anyway, I'm not an investor, so to speak. I'm a price conscious buyer and seller, and I haven't changed my tune on what I think will retain some value. But I'm also not in those like deep waters of high price stuff, you know. And I understand people that are, and then some people, you know, have certainly made a ton of money, and I'm, you know, not here to criticize any of that, you know, for sure. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No. I think the base card prices going up. At first, I was thinking in my little brain, very similar to you, and thinking, there's going to be thousands of these cards. Who's really going to want it? And I think the price is going to start go down. But as it became more popular, and more and more people starting to go into it, it started to get more expensive because even still, it wasn't enough supply.
Yeah, it kept going.
That's why the price was going up. And only because of this stupid virus. If it wasn't because of this, I still think those base cards would have gone up just because I think there's so many people going in. Maybe 5 or 6 years from now, or 5 to 10 years from now, will they stay? Will they hold that value? I'm not 100% sure, but maybe it just keeps growing because it is what it is. But I think Gary V coming in and all of a sudden getting people who didn't know too much about it and bringing, you know, raising prices, and people were still had plenty to sell and people were buying it. It wasn't like, all right, well, I'm not buying Acuna anymore. There's enough, you know, let's cut it out. It went up double. Almost, you know, it just kept on going up. It got up to 300, and I think at 300 that was the point where people were like, all right, I'm going to go find a different Acuna card to buy because now it's getting too expensive for me. And so all the other cards that he had starting to come up. You know, now his Heritage was going up, his Topps Chrome, and all those other cards that were, you know, $15-20 that, you know, graded. I'm talking about PSA 10 were now going up to $50-60. And so I think that's a good trend. I think that's the trend that's gonna, well, it would have happened. I don't know now. Now I think everything is gonna start coming down. I think in 2 months we're gonna be talking about prices that were like, well, why did I even buy it at that price? Because I could get it for nothing. You know, I can get it for nothing now because people are just gonna be, you know, especially people like dealers who this is their livelihood. They're gonna be hurt. You know, and a lot of people aren't gonna be buying anything because, you know, your industry hasn't restarted yet, you know. So it sucks. There's no crystal ball that we can say, you know, maybe this thing's, you know, overblown and everyone staying home is a good thing, and, you know, the social distancing, and maybe 2 months and we're okay, and then we can start going out and start going about our business. But I don't know. I don't see that. I don't see it happening. I'm just saying, you know, like maybe somehow, some way, there's a, you know, hidden vaccine that the man is holding against us, and he just starts coming back. Here you go. You want it? $5, and then we're all good. But
there's a lot of money in there for someone who can do that.
Yeah.
Billions. There's a lot of money.
Yeah. So
David asks, don't you think everyone's looking for the next Trout update? Hasn't that been the big component of this base card craze? A base card that's under 10 years old and going for close to 4 digits. But isn't the issue, who else is Mike Trout? Is
Right.
there anybody,
Who else is LeBron James?
right?
You know,
And I think
who
both
else?
are the issue. Who in
Yeah.
the world is going to be able to be the next Mike Trout? Sure.
Well, it depends. It depends. Like you have Acuna, you have Soto, who does a lot of good things. Soto, I would bet more than anything than Acuna because in the playoffs he was money. And right now, Trout, as great and awesome as he is, we don't know what he does in the playoffs. Maybe when he finally gets a good team, he goes to the playoffs and he craps the bed and actually makes him not as valuable. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I think he's, the best player, one of the best players we've ever seen. But maybe, we don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I do think Soto, Acuna, maybe Vladimir Guerrero Jr. People crapping on him, whatever. He's still almost, or did he hit 30 home runs last year as a rookie? Eloy Jimenez hit 30 home. Like there's a bunch of guys coming up that are hitting a ton of home runs that I don't think they're gonna go after Trout, but maybe they come close.
Yeah, but when people talk
Instead
about
of 1,000, they're
players,
700. Sorry.
when people talk about players and ignore the products, I think it's a mistake. Just a blanket statement like Gary Vee, said like buy James Harden or buy Hakeem Olajuwon, without making more of a narrow focus into exactly how do you invest in those players. Do you get just the cream of the crop of their inventory, or do you buy every single base card across all products? That doesn't make any sense. And so I try to listen to what is the best investment, not just stats, and what is the best product. It was only last week, wasn't there a Panini like basketball product that was like $1,200 for 9 cards or something? Was it like Impeccable, or I get the Impeccable
I
or
think it was
Immaculate or something?
Yeah, it's one of
It's called
those.
ridiculous.
Like to me, those were never going to survive a huge crash. They were never going to make an impact with people's memories and nostalgia. No one was ever going to have a sort of affinity for a product that they could only ever afford like one card out of a break or something. It's not that, but I think Prism and Optic will have that. I think people will be familiar with making those runs and getting lucky and finding some things and making some hits in there, which would be like the low numbered superstars that will make an impact, just who you like, whether LeBron or Steph or Giannis or things like that. So, when I hear stuff like, oh, buy Glaber or buy Soto or buy any of these baseball players where there seems like there's a ton of young talent, which is great. What more, like what are the baseball products you should really be concentrating on that can withstand if a lot of it comes tumbling down? What's going to remain standing? Will it be the flagship base card? Will it be the autographs? Will it be, we know what relics are these days. Nothing already,
You only have, in baseball, you really only have, I think, 3. Maybe other people might think differently. You have the first Bowman, first Bowman auto. You have the chrome, the refractor, non-auto. You can get those as well, and those do well in all the colors. But that whole prism, the rainbow and all that stuff. You have Topps flat when they become a rookie, their rookie card. And I think Heritage, because you have some Heritage that go for a lot of money. I mean, look at Mike Trout's Heritage. It goes for a decent amount of PSA 10. So you have those, but that's not the top 2. Bowman's number 1, Topps is number 2. I think Heritage, base, and more their action cards, I've noticed, and I said it in the interview with Slab Stocks, because I just noticed everyone likes, and I like it too. I like the action card because it's a little bit harder to get, and that's it. I don't think there's anything else. In basketball, you have Panini Prism, you have Optic, you have National Treasure, the RPA. Those are the 3, main cards, and then you have like the Kaboom. I forget the set that you get it from. You can shoot me, whatever. Where you have, the hollows for Optic, the Kabooms, the Galactic card. in basketball, and it's, that's it. Everything else is just ancillary. It's nice to have, and it's fun. And it's the same thing with football, because Panini's the same thing. Basketball and football are the same thing. So,
Mhm.
hockey, I don't know anything about. It's going to be some long, really long name of some Russian that you got to collect. And I don't know what Upper Deck. I don't even know what they have. So can't help
Yeah.
you there.
I don't do hockey, but I think the hockey guys do love Upper Deck.
That's it. I
And
think that's
I
all.
think they wish they had another license too.
Yeah,
Another
Upper Deck's the
company.
only one who can make, I believe. I don't think anyone else can make hockey. So I know they have young. That's one thing I know.
When I got back in the hobby, I thought like all that rainbow stuff was kind of bogus and goofy, and now I'm sort of like digging it. I don't know. I think there's something about those numbers to 99, numbers to 50, numbers to 25 that don't exist on eBay by the hundreds, and it adds a
Mhm.
little more of a collective, a collectible interest or drive to it than amassing quantities of currency. It taps into the collectible nature of it to go to maybe trying to get some of those out of tens or out of twenties, and maybe even like get an out of ten of I got I got a optic out of 10 of Robbie Anderson, right? One of these Jets. Of course, I'm not gonna. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna buy a Hamptons house based on a Robbie Anderson card. But if you're a Jets fan, there's only 10 of them. There's only 10
Yeah,
of these gold ones, and he's not a super scrub or anything. If they win some games, and they resign him, he'll be responsible for it. So I kind of like
I don't
having
do.
these cards that are
I ain't gonna
only
win any
10 or
games, but
20.
I got your point.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hey, guys, let me interject for just a second. We got a bunch of comments to throw in here. For some reason, Carlos, I think he's tongue in cheek, thinks that Tampa Bay is now going to win the Super Bowl. Um, Emmanuel thinks or
Quarantine,
says,
so he's probably a little stir crazy.
yeah, Bowman Chrome will stand the test of time.
Yep.
He says, Kaboom comes out of Crown Royale.
Yeah, I
Up,
couldn't.
upper deck, the cup is like the national treasures of hockey. He says those are beautiful cards.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Upper Deck always made nice cards. Even back in the day, I always liked them. I still 89 Upper Deck is probably still my go-to. Them and Flair. When Flair came out with their cards, I thought that was the best looking set I've ever seen in my entire life. I remember buying. It was the first box I bought was Flair, and I got him. I opened all. I have all that. My Manny Ramirez Wave of the Future rookie card. I wouldn't sell it for nothing. I had it. I said, no, you can't. No, this thing's going to be hundreds, thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
How's it doing for you now?
Not too good, Bernard. Not too good.
Let's see. Carlos likes the hunts of the Kaboom, Galactic, and Downtown and Marvel.
Yeah, it's those are tough to get though. Those and they're expensive. They're really expensive, those cards.
Yeah.
The problem with the I do like the chasing the rainbow aspect of it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But now at this point, it's like 30, 40. I know in Prism, well, I think there was like around 40 different colors for you to get and different type of stuff. That's when I think it becomes too much. I think a small variety. I don't know, like there's people who get the 1 of 1, get the 5, the 10. That's expensive and tough, but I can see how that can be fun. But 40 of them or 35 of them, I'd be like, this is just stupid. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, but I think 30 of the 40 are not hard to get. They're unnumbered and they're not hard to get at all.
Yeah, no,
And
I
even,
understand. It's just,
you really once you get down to like there's 75 and 50 and whatever and 40 and 30 and those could be harder. I mean, they're fun to. I don't have like one of ones of superstars, but it's fun just to hear people say like, oh, I've been looking for this card for 4 years and it finally showed up on eBay. Like nobody's looking for any Acuna card that hasn't showed up in 4 years. I mean, there's 100 of them on eBay at
yeah.
any given time. So
I,
it's just like it's that part of the hobby that those goofy rainbows do fill that's pretty special. Like they're truly a chase and truly like a hunt and a collectible. And we didn't have that, when we were collecting 80s cards. Can you imagine if there was like a Mattingly 84 Topps with like a a gold border to 25, how people would have gone insane for that,
Oh
and
yeah, no,
still
people would.
would, and
They
still
would
I
have.
would.
remember. Do you remember? Was it '92 that Leaf came out with the gold version, and maybe Topps did as well? Um, was it a gold outline? I
But
think.
not rare at all, right?
No, 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 not at all. But when it was
Yeah.
coming out, I was like, man, I've now got to get two of these. I
Oh,
want
the
to
night.
do.
Yeah, Topps Gold. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
had a little thing. I remember. Yeah.
Uh, Ryan says there's 41 different parallels in
Yeah.
Prism.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
knew there was a lot. Yeah, that's a ton.
That
That's
hurts my head.
Yeah, but like I said, 30 of them don't mean anything. 30 of them
that is
Yeah.
true.
numbered.
Most of them you can get. They're pretty
Yeah,
easy
they're
to get.
nothing.
You're all right about that. What was I? I lost my train of thought. There was something I wanted to say. Oh, it's gone. Gone.
Welcome. Matt Key just joined us. Welcome, Matt. We've got a bunch of folks in here. And if you want to join us live, like Paul, David, and me, just get in Blue Jeans, and I put the code in there. It's a 9-digit code. It's the same one every time we do this.
One,
And
two.
just join us.
You know which one I like? That I don't remember. I like where they have the jersey and they get the letters of their name. So like if it's like a Piazza jersey, they get the P, the I. I like
Yeah.
that's something
Letterman.
that I would like.
Yeah, I think it's
But I would
called
have to get
Letterman.
short.
Well, I think during this time when we don't know what, investments anywhere are going to have what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or longer. Yeah, people are going to have to do some introspection into what makes them happy, collecting and otherwise, and what parts of the hobby make them happy, and maybe seek out those sorts of things instead of that sort of flip game, that may have to go on the shelf for a couple months, and all the trips to Walmart, that may have to stop too. But
Yeah, I think
yeah,
money. If you have a ton of money in the reserves for baseball cards and you can just buy them and hold, this is like you're a pig in crap. I would say. And
yeah.
my
Well, like
mom
you
wanted
said,
to say,
we're super early in this, but
yep.
when everybody's the handcuffs are off, people are going to be diving into sports like madmen. Whatever that is, whether that's football season or I don't know if basketball is going to be able to even have a postseason, anything. But I mean,
Oh, Paul, I'm in SEC football country, and
right.
they're already in mourning. We can't have spring training.
Oh, yeah,
No
spring
spring
games too, right?
games,
Yeah,
which will be 60, 80, 100,000 people in the past.
yeah.
But David, to go back to, and Carlos said this, but I think the masses are thinking this. He wants to hear more Mattingly talk.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Here we go to Matt. I did.
Mattingly's the best,
You know what?
man. He has a special place in collecting for guys who aren't in the Hall of Fame, but whose prices command a lot of money.
Yeah.
He might be
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah,
Dale
no.
Murphy comes to mind as a popular guy, in the South, but
Oh, yeah.
Mattingly's prices hold up with any Hall of Famer up to this day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This
And
was my favorite card. I had not
Yeah,
this
let me
card.
get mine.
I actually opened this pack. When I opened up my 84 rack boxes, I got one of these. And
There you go.
it's my all-time favorite card. Yeah.
It's autographed by Donnie. That's a guy yeah, everybody show your Mattingly.
Oh, I always wanted the 84 Dunruss. I couldn't afford that. And then that was like one of the first cards I bought when I came back into the hobby. I said, I can get it for $10. Sure. But the PSA 10 goes for over $1,000.
Doesn't
Crazy
matter.
expensive. Crazy. I mean, for someone who's not a Hall of Famer, he's just a great.
Super
He had
popular.
5 or 6 years that were amazing. Just
But
people love.
he was in the right market, the right team, the right position, and he just has all those intangibles
Mhm.
except the Hall of Fame numbers or the voting.
Yeah,
Maybe he's
Hall
got
of
the
Fame.
numbers. I haven't analyzed him versus
You
the
know,
guys that are
he's
in there.
if it was just 5, if you just went like, well, was he the best first baseman for 5 or 6 years? At times he was amazing, but then after that, he wasn't. So his numbers
But
really didn't
no
up.
titles.
No titles,
That
but
hurts.
it was injuries. That's really what happened. His back started bothering him. Once his back started hurting, it was just a pain in the ass to watch him because every single time you go and watch a game, half the time he wasn't even there. So it'd be annoying. I remember I go to baseball games and just to see him, and he's my back hurts, so he can't play. So I hated that.
Well, Dave, have you been able to line up any more interviews, or you got some in the works?
There is one. Hopefully I can do it tomorrow with somebody who we all know and love. And we'll be probably talking a lot about Wander Franco. So
Don Mattingly's coming on your show?
Oh, not Don Mattingly.
You should have guests on your podcast like Pepe. Have Wander Franco. You know? I mean,
See, I thought Pepe was pretty good, and then I said, you know what? Maybe right now is not the time to start making fun of Italians. So
yeah. Well, you could have Wander Franco go for a ride in your car, just.
Well, no, I'm talking
him.
about George. I'm talking about George. I'm gonna hopefully, I can do an interview tomorrow.
I mean, a real person. Okay.
Yes, a real person. Yes. No, not a fake one.
Hmm.
Yeah, no. I'll start doing other voices. I can do plenty of voices.
The athletes are free.
The
You
ones
should
that
interview them. They're free. They're not doing anything right now.
David, it's one thing for you to talk to them here, but when they start talking back to you, maybe pushing the limits there.
It's a long car ride when I go upstate.
Yeah.
I'm a lonely man, so things start happening. So,
yeah. George says, wait, what about me? 3 question marks. I think you got his attention.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about Wander Franco.
Yeah.
No.
Well, guys, what else we got? We got a couple of more minutes before we shut this down for the evening. Anything, guys who are watching, or anybody, Paul or David, anything?
I'm curious. I'm curious to see if what everyone else is noticing. It's more about the chat because I know, Paul, you're a COMC guy, so that's all you've been doing. I'm trying to see if there's any other things that I'm missing because I'm really was just focused on the top players: Acuna, Soto, Glaber. I was looking at those. I don't know about other things. I still see, like I was saying on the podcast, Heritage, Action. Those cards are still doing well. Yeah, they dropped from their highs, and I don't know if that's because of people buy them stupid. They spend stupid money as soon as they're released, and then the prices drop dramatically after a month or two. Now, I don't know if that's the case or also because of, what's going on that it's dropping this as well. So I can't figure that out. But I don't know if there's other cards because I'm trying to find – I started looking at 2018 cards, Bowman Draft. Trying to see those, try to see if I can get those on the cheap, and those were going for a decent amount of money as well. I wasn't finding anything too cheap, So I'm trying to see if anyone else has noticed anything.
David asks, when will Bowman break prices and hobby box prices go up?
Where will?
He thinks they'll be released in about a month.
Yeah, they're supposed to be in April. I don't remember. It's April 20th is popping in my head, but I don't know if that is the case, though. I think breakers are screwed, truthfully. I think they're going to be in bad shape. Maybe not Bowman, because Bowman is like everyone's geared up for Bowman, so maybe people are holding their money for reserves, but I think everything else, they're going to have a hard time filling it. Not right now, because people are just chilling, going, "Don't worry about it, I got it." They're being, they think who they are. But in a month or two, I think breakers are going to be in a bad spot, trying to sell these cards, sell these spots. And no one's going to be buying. Who's got the money to gamble right now? That's really what it is. Mm-hmm. So they might as well just get the card that they want, or wait for it, or whatever. That's my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think, I mentioned that basketball product that was, $1,100 for 9 cards that I saw last week. I just don't know who's running to the ATM to get money to participate in that stuff at this point. Could be wrong. Like I said, or like you said, we're on day 3 of this. We're in the first week. Who the hell knows? But not something I'd want to invest heavily in right now. No.
No,
it's just sad.
It's just, if you do have the money and you wait a month, I think you will be doing a very good job. You know, you'll be able to make a lot of money by the end of the year. But if you can
I
wait
think
it out, that's the thing. You can wait it out. Most people can't.
David,
So.
David, I think one of the issues that's going to come up, and I certainly don't want to be a doom and gloom guy, but what if our mail system shuts down
Yeah.
and you've purchased cards? How do you get them? You
You'll
know,
have to. I'll have to walk and hoof it and get it yourself.
You
Like
have to use
at
Star
the
Stuff
movie End
or
of
whatever.
Days.
Yeah.
Like End of Days, where the one where New York freezes over, and they walked across the entire country in 2 days. I don't know how they did that in the movie, but they did it. So that's how you would have to go for your cards. And I may do that. I think I would leave my wife and children just to get my Don Mattingly 84 Donruss card.
Mhm. I think you'll see more of the hobby do stuff like this. People just connecting online a little bit. This is literally like the third online meeting I've had of different sorts. One was
Mhm.
a photography class I was taking, which couldn't go to the physical location. Another was like a daily or weekly meeting support group I have in the neighborhood that I participate in, and yeah, people are doing this stuff. And I think the people in the hobby tried to do some sort of like online, what was it, like a hobby show or a card show last
I
weekend. They
heard.
were kind of doing. So I think people might come up with some creative ways. Like you did a couple of like trade nights sort of thing, and people were
Mhm.
kind of unfamiliar with how everything worked. But yeah, I think you'll see more of that stuff as mandated or necessary. Not mandated, but as it becomes necessary, just to connect with people. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, my only problem is if I sell anything, like right now, I got to send Carlos his cards that he won. They're right here.
I mean,
I got
no,
to go
you
to the post office.
don't. No, you don't. I
So
mean,
now I might just, throw it, just hook, like, I got my masks, so I'm ready to go. I've been geared up for this for about a month and a half. I knew what was coming. So I got masks, I have gloves, I could go.
yeah,
No
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but
the
no one
whole
else
world
is.
is, guys, the whole world's got to go online. It has to. I've been in a series of meetings this week
yeah,
for the practice of law. The not to bore you with this, but our court systems throughout the country mainly are so archaic. They don't have the abilities, or if they do, the judges and the court administrators haven't figured out the technology. So I've spent the last 2.5 days on numerous calls just trying to educate people about how to get up to speed so that we could just continue the practice of law in our state and in other places. But I
right.
think once we catch up with all of that, things will be a little bit, I guess, more calm. Maybe that's just the optimist in me. But when people can figure out how they can continue to communicate and continue to reach out and do things, maybe there'll be just a little bit of a calming, because isolation sucks, and
Yeah,
people have a hard
Yeah,
time with
it
it.
does. But you know what? I've listened to a lot of people in a bunch of different in the real estate industry and whatever, and this could be, a turning point in America, just how we deal with things. This is probably not going to be the last pandemic. There's probably something it keeps on happening. There was SARS, there was swine flu, and it just got progressively worse and worse and worse. Not that I'm saying, oh, there's going to be another one in 5 years, but I think this may fundamentally change how we go about business. We're going to see, hey, we rely everything on China for medicine. We rely everything, of whatever goods from Mexico or wherever we do. And we couldn't get anything. It became a big problem. So we start changing the way we do things. Same thing with work. Well, we couldn't do anything. We couldn't get anything done because we didn't have the internet infrastructure yet. And we're going to start figuring this stuff out. And we go, well, I don't have to go in the office. I can just do this online. And I think you may get a lot more industries that weren't thinking like that, like law, like other things, changing. And it may, there may be opportunities if people are thinking about it and think of an industry that's not tech savvy, like law, and create a business around it. I think that's a lot of changes as well that's going to happen because of this. This is not sports cards, obviously, but just in general. That's just another thought that I've seen and people have
Right.
been talking about as well.
It's going to trickle into our hobby, and it already has. I mean,
Mhm.
just us doing this, and there'll be other opportunities. But Dave, Paul, in closing, you guys have anything else you want to share before we shut it down for the night?
No, just, actually glad you guys had this chat because I think there's some, we gotta stay healthy physically and emotionally and mentally. And I think hobbies are gonna help me and help a lot of people get through, stuff like this. And it's nice to carve out a little bit of time for, distraction and enjoyment and stuff like that. So thanks for, doing this.
Well, we're glad you popped on. David, before you have the last word, there's an underground consensus we want to ask you as a group. Do you want to change the name of these weekly chats to Dave's House Party or something like that? Do you want to leave it as SVA, or we're going to change it to DR's House Party or some
Maybe
variation?
Dave's something with Dave's green room talk. I don't know. Because that's where it's happening, in the green room. Because every room I have at one point was a different color. And so that's the room it was called. I said, you are going to go to the blue room or the green room. I got a yellow, that's just what I did. As a family. So the green room is where I play with my cards. I don't know how we can figure that out.
We don't want to know what you do in the other rooms, but
There's nothing. There's no magic happening. Very little
all right,
magic.
guys. Anything else, Dave, before we sign off?
No, guys, just stay safe. Don't be stupid. And, just stay home, chill, play video games. Don't buy cards. Wait for a month or two, then buy cards, and then you can go broke. That's about it. That's what I
All
say.
right, guys. Y'all be well. Be safe.
All right.